Yeah, sure. I generally go for the regular and the service. Yeah, yeah. There we go. Oh, awesome. Yeah, let's chat more once this. Yeah, let's figure something out or sure we'll learn from each other. Yeah,
I know. I saw you on the GitHub. That's really cool. Oh, okay. But you're we use it a lot. You're good to go? Okay, I just got a call from Nick. He's good to go. Okay, questions? Have you seen him? I messaged him. He said, hey, good to see you. Are you live streaming? Yes. You want me to? Okay. You should too. That'd be great. Yeah.
What are you live streaming with?
Let me know what time
I just myself.
That's starting now, but it's like totally fine. Just walk up to a friend. We'll get started. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You're gonna, I'll see you. Jeffrey thought it was like, wait, he thought it was like, okay. So let's do this thing. I'll see you. I'm just looking for a bit. One of these central as long as you're short, yeah, can do.
Oh, that's so long ago.
Oh, it's you're responsible.
Yeah, it's my responsibility. Your responsibility. Help needed.
Someone took apart the events.
Well, it was half. I took about, so it was probably my fault too.
Happy to do it for you.
Welcome to the MCP Hackathon. Woo! We gather in the spirit of Silicon Valley. There are very few places. Someone who applied to this hackathon yesterday said, whoa, SF, because they were moving to a place where on the weekend, on a Saturday, hundreds of people will gather to connect artificial general intelligence to every imaginable endpoint. And it is in that spirit that we invented AGI House. So what is AGI House? It's a very creative idea that rather than living alone, you live in a mansion with 7 of your friends who happen to be entrepreneurs and researchers and the most brilliant people you know, and co-run a community of really brilliant hackathons that basically allow you and your friends to co-invent the future.
And this is actually the AGI House Hackathon back in September 2022 with my roommate Andre Karpathy and a bunch of our friends. Kyle lives here. That's Arvind Srinivas, who founded Perplexity and was working on it at OpenAI at this hackathon. Basically, we are in the footsteps of some of the greatest hackers, inventors, and creators of all time, and have been co-inventing the AI revolution for the last 3 years. So, welcome. You are about to experience the MCP Hackathon, but first I would like to just point to the sense that you are in the middle of something special, which is that Silicon Valley is in many ways distinct from almost every other city in the world, in that we have this creative culture, where today you can come up with some newfangled idea, and tomorrow you can have millions of dollars at your back attempting to transform the future of, in this case, connection between everything that we've built in LLM world and every other software system that exists. And so I have a lot of hope and faith that an open standard like MCP will be the path to creativity for all of the tools that should be accessible to LLMs and fulfill the promise of AGI. So what's going to happen today is we're going to have a few talks from folk who, much like you, are inventing something new. So first of all, Henry, who jumped on MCP and actually has created Smithery, which is an attempt to basically make it easy to set up servers, but also potentially to authenticate and add payments so that almost everything that you and I do can be done through an LLM call. And so there's a walkthrough, but basically it'll be an easy way for you to get on the ground running with a new MCP project. We'll hear from Nick, who's the creator of Omi, which is a in-person, on-the-ground wearable, which will allow you to trigger MCP actions from an utterance. So much like I'm talking to this microphone, I can trigger any MCP call via language, and so it should be epic. To basically at the end of the day, have people enable their MCP servers to be connected to a real-world hardware trigger, so that you can accomplish any on software task through a real-world action. And then finally, Exa has a prize as well for connecting search to your LLM calls. So we'll hear from Jeff as well. All that said, I'm super stoked to really see whether this open standard can outperform plugins and can be a long-term representation of how to interact with the greater software ecosystem. So I want to be able to call my Uber or Waymo from an LLM call that's triggered by audio, for example. I would love to be able to really take a lot of actions that I know are technically possible, but that so far with function calling or with the plugins ecosystem that died have been totally inaccessible. So here's to a new era, a new generation of connected AI tools. Let's hear it for MCP, and let's hear it for Henry, the founder of Smithery. Woo! Some context. So this is both a workshop and a talk. So all of you received a link to a basic MCP server. We're all going to together walk through with and putting the MC server up so that everyone basically has grounding and context with using MCP. It also is a really wonderful opportunity to use Smithery, which has a prize for you at the end of the hackathon if you put up a successful server. And you'll see which MCP servers have been triumphant through his analytics. So do enjoy the presentation.
All right, thanks for the introduction and having me. It's a funny thing, we only settled on doing this sponsorship last minute yesterday. So if something goes wrong, make sure to let me know. I'll fix it immediately. So my name is Henry. I'm the founder of Smithery AI. Smithery is only 3 months old because that's how old MCPs are. MCPs are very new. So I'll be just giving a quick overview of what MCPs are, what Smithery is, and maybe a quick code overview of one simple example to help you get started. So who here has heard of MCPs and has, obviously, but who here has tried out or looked at the documentation of MCPs and kind of knows how it works? Okay, so there are also a good number of people who haven't kind of looked into the details of MCPs. So I'll just give a very quick overview of what MCPs are. So MCP is sort of like HTTP, right? It's a protocol for a model to talk to either another model or a resource. So these resources could be services, they could be tool calls, or they could be other agents as well. So here's kind of an overview of what MCPs are in terms of a diagram. So an MCP is the protocol sitting in the middle here. It kind of defines the common shared language between MCP clients and MCP servers. So in this hackathon, you'll have the opportunity to either build your own MCP server, or you will be building an MCP client, such as an agent or perhaps like a UI that kind of uses different MCPs. So MCP is just a protocol. It's nothing too fancy or complicated. It's just a standardization, a way for models to talk to other models or resources. So let me give a quick demo of what deploying an MCP on Smithery will look like. So Smithery is, I started Smithery 3 months ago as just like a product hunt or a list for MCPs. It kind of evolved into a host where I'm now helping like developers deploy and host their MCPs. So you can think of Smithery like a combination between OpenRouter and Vercel. So right now we have like 2,000 plus MCPs deployed on Smithery. Let's say we want to deploy a new MCP. So we can click Add Server. Let me just go into this account and let me deploy sort of the MCP fetch repository. So I have a repository here which you'll have access to. It's open. It's an open repository that just kind of showcases a very simple MCP. All this MCP does is it will fetch a URL that the LLM asks it to, and it will return the result as text back to the LLM with some kind of truncation so the context does not explode. So we have the repository here. We click create. We can name it, and we can click create. So once you click create, it will connect to this GitHub repository. It will start a deployment job, and while this is building, I'll kind of go through the code to show you how this MCP is sort of structured. So on a high level, we can start from the bottom, right? An MCP server has to kind of start. You can create a transport. The transport is basically the communication medium in which the MCP will talk to the client. So this is an MCP server. This code kind of runs the server. And the more interesting part is how you kind of define tools. So this server kind of provides a single tool call, which is called fetch. So in sort of the request for tools/list, which is sort of a listing of all the available tools, this server says, okay, I have the fetch tool available, and it returns this description, which is passed to the LLM. So the LLM can kind of read this as a prompt on how to use this tool. It also specifies an input schema, and this is a JSON schema on what are the arguments of this tool. So if we take a look at this fetch arg schema, you can see that for this tool, you can specify the URL, the maximum length, the start index, and whether or not you want raw or markdown formatted fetch results. So we have this. We have this definition of a tool list. So what tools are available to the LLM, and then we have this implementation of the tool. So when the tool gets called, it will actually invoke this kind of function here. It will we parse the arguments from the LLM, which sometimes could be wrong, so we have to throw some errors if that happens. And then we actually do the fetch. We get the result here in this part of the code. We process the images if necessary, and then finally we return a text string. So most APIs actually return some kind of JSON, but for MCPs, we typically return a text that the LLM can process. Sorry, there's a question. Oh, yes. Okay, let me close this. Okay, there we go. MCPs will return a text string back to the LLM, and the LLM can kind of read the string and continue processing. So you can see how MCPs can be embedded as part of agentic flows or autonomous agents. So that's a high-level view of. There's a high-level view of this MCP. Looks like this deployment is successful, and we can go into. So once deployment is done, you can go into the tools page of this preview. you can kind of run a, oh wait, I have to refresh this. You have to connect to the MCP. So this is sort of a playground on Smithery. And then you can, connect to, any sort of website and click run. It will actually run through the fetch. It gives you kind of the results here. It gives you the content. So yeah, on a high level, this is kind of how you can deploy an MCP server on the Smithery. Once you deploy, it will be sort of in the directory, and people can search for this MCP and use it by either installing it to their Claude, Cursor, Windsurf, or a bunch of other different clients. They can also use your MCP through the Smithery API. So you can programmatically use over 2,000 MCPs on Smithery just by connecting to it. Yeah, any questions?
I think Jeremy mentioned something about payments, like integrating payments.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
not available today. But,
yeah, that's on my roadmap.
yeah, long-term intention of MCP is to be connected to anything, including things you can pay for. That's the core idea.
I've seen a lot of the MCP servers have Docker files, but this one doesn't, so is that not necessary?
So I have an agent that would generate a Docker file if you don't have one to get you started. But yeah, in general, there needs to be a Docker file to deploy in Smithery. But we'll generate one for you if you don't have one.
Do you generate error messages with the fetch and the implementation?
Yeah, so there are two types of errors you want to kind of provide in an MCP. The first type is like a fatal error where you actually just want to crash the MCP. The second type is an error that you want to actually give back to the LLM so then it can iterate and improve its result. So this is sort of a recoverable error. And if you have this type of error, you want to return it sort of in this sort of string, which is the text content that goes back into the LLM. So yeah, those are like the two ways you want to handle errors in MCPs.
What's the discovery process?
Sorry, what do you mean by discovery?
How do you find MCP signature?
Oh, so you mean on Smithery? You can find MCPs by searching for them, or you can, yeah.
How does the agent find MCPs?
We sort of do a embedding index, yeah. If that's your question.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that is actually one of the most common projects that I see, and is very important. Is like the MCP search engine.
Is there a one-to-one translation between like an open API spec and a MCP server?
I've seen a few open source projects that are trying to tackle that, but right now I'm primarily just focused on MCP like support.
You want to create a project that automatically converts various kinds of existing API services into MCPs. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Can one MCP server talk to another MCP server?
Yes, so you can definitely compose MCPs, and I think that's one of the interesting things to build that people have yet to explore a lot yet. So yeah, that could be the Hackathon project. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. Do you have advice for people who are creating MCPs if you'd like them to be successful? Oh my God, I see the MCP I created.
You're now number one.
Yeah. So basically, like, everyone who's creating servers that succeed, what do they typically do? Like, what have been the most useful MCPs on Smithery, and what would you advise us to include in our builds to make sure our MCPs are good to go?
So obviously, like, I think the most useful MCP depends on a use case. So you want to work back from like a real life problem that you have. So for example, I spoke to another founder yesterday, and then they were having an issue with, they wanted to build this integration with WhatsApp, right? And there was like no way to like have your LLM talk to WhatsApp or send messages through WhatsApp automatically. So this could be an idea, like somebody should build a WhatsApp MCP so they could like use this integration, right? So integration is sort of one way to think about MCPs. That's sort of one class of MCPs that are the most straightforward thing to build. The other type of MCPs are more about like, how do I make my language model smarter, right? How do I extend the memory of the MCP? So there are some MCPs on Smithery, for example, the sequential thinking one. It gives the language model a framework to think step by step. So it's almost like chain of thought. A tool called that helps the language model think in chain of thought. And that could make the language model think in a way that you want it to think, right? So it will be potentially smarter. Yeah, and I've also seen some other MCPs are trying to extend the memory of language models. So they provide some kind of knowledge graph or some kind of caching. So there are a lot of different interesting things you can make. Yeah.
Just one question on local MCP servers. Can we still deploy those onto Smittery?
Yeah, so right now Smittery is focused on remote ones. In the future, we'll allow people to deploy local ones, and the clients will have to pull the Docker images basically locally. Yeah.
Do you think there's any like if anyone can make a MCP server on Smittery, is there any like sort of like security or like, because I guess like the MCP server could have like access to like anything you pass to it. So do you think that you will implement any type of like validation or verification that this is like a good MCP server?
Yeah, so that's definitely on our roadmap. Most MCP servers currently are open source, so you can click on a GitHub icon to see the code. And we sort of have community-based vetting, so the ones that are used more tend to be higher quality or more trustworthy. But yeah, that's also on our roadmap. But we have so many things on the backlog right now to like kind of have better security scanning and vetting as well.
So you have to talk to the MCP server remotely. Could you explain what you mean by that on Smittery?
So MCP servers are just like regular servers. You can run them localhost, right? Or you can run them remotely, right? So once you deploy it, it becomes like a URL, and then you can call it from anywhere. So that's what I mean by deploying an MCP server.
Last question. Standard input and output, that's the transport, right? So that means that it should be locally on the computer. So remote, is it like something else, or is it the same thing?
So the trick Smittery does is it will actually convert your standard I/O transport into a remote hosted version. So we will internally we call your thing using standard I/O, but we kind of have a gateway that would help you turn into remote.
So what protocol do you use to communicate? Like, can we transfer?
Oh, WebSocket.
WebSocket.
Yeah.
So WebRTC could work, or?
No, right now it only does WebSocket. Yeah.
Is that just Smittery or MCP?
Yes, Smittery does WebSocket. So MCP, the protocol itself offers standard I/O, SSE, and then there's an unofficial WebSocket implementation. And I just made a PR to them, so they have WebSocket now. But those are kind of like the three things that they have in their official SDK.
Would you recommend stay away from the WebSocket?
I think for local development, like for the purposes of Hackathon local development, doing standard I/O is like the easiest way to get started because you can kind of quickly test things. If you're kind of messing around with the SCE, I think SCE still needs to mature. So perhaps in the future it will be in a better state for development purposes. Yeah. So that's one reason why you use MCP. Another one is that traditional APIs are not meant to talk to language models, and MCP is sort of that. For this example, like MCP would be that layer that converts text, input output into a traditional API call to WhatsApp, right? So that would be it acts sort of like a bridge, right? In that sense. There are certain cases where you might have to store more memory that in order to conduct this WhatsApp call properly, right? So in that case, it will be more than just a simple bridge.
Yeah. Okay, the cut now. Let's hear it. We have you now.
Thank you.
Up next is another founder CEO, the inventor of Omi, which will allow you to bring MCP into the physical world. His devices are on offer for the hackathon. Let's hear it for Nick Shevchenko.
Thank you. All right, what's up, everyone? Firstly, I see so many amazing faces right now, and I really want to take a picture of all of you. Can you all please smile for me just for 1 second, okay? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you. Damn, I've never seen so many people in one house. It's crazy. All right, let's go. Can you see? No, you cannot. let's see how to set this thing up.
Top right corner. Blue button.
Yeah, 1 second, entire screen. Cool. Awesome. All right, folks. So my name is Nick. I'm the founder of Omi. In a few words, what Omi is, we are like AI wearable. You put it on your neck, transcribe conversations, get summaries, feedback, and advice. We are maybe like 1 year old. We have 300,000 software users. We have an app marketplace with 1,000 different apps. So whatever Jeremy was talking about Uber and DoorDash and stuff, you can pretty much order it just by wearing a device and talking about that. And we have shipped 3 hardware iterations recently. We also raised a round from Team Draper. And we have some money which we can give out to all of you in terms of bounties and stuff, which is why I'm here. Actually, let me show you the demo right away, probably, so you understand better about the product. Boom, boom. Okay, cool. So you see the live from my mobile phone, and I'm going to open Omi app. You can find it on the App Store if you search Omi AI. Then you will go and sign up. Then here on this screen, you definitely need to click on clone from device, because this flow will lead you to consumer flow, which you don't need. And then just sign in with whatever you use. Cool. Okay, so this is pretty much the app. I'm gonna connect the device, but you will not need it to if you are going to build for it. The device is connected to the phone via Bluetooth right now, real time. And as soon as they connect, it starts streaming real-time audio, basically, and transcribing it in real time as well, which you can see here already. So this is like whatever I'm speaking real time. After every conversation I have with a person, it's being summarized in this format. So someone just was discussing MCP, discussion, summary, action items if there are any, and custom content from hundreds of different apps, which I'll tell you about in a second. Chat pretty much like ChatGPT. The only difference is it's 10 times more personalized. All context that ever was said by the user goes directly to the chat. So whenever you ask it a question, it knows everything about you right away. So like millions and millions of facts and memories and stuff. And the coolest part, apps. We have a pretty big community of like 7,000 developers in Discord, and they're building all these amazing apps. The problem, however, though, is that these apps are very isolated. So they only exist inside of our app. They do not really communicate with like other apps. They do not communicate with LLMs and stuff. And this is the biggest, your biggest opportunity right now, where you can get $5,000 in your cash today. And I'll tell you about it in a second. Any questions so far? Does it make sense overall? Cool, thank you for nodding. That helps a lot. Okay, so firstly, in terms of the prices, please build on Omi. We really need you. We really need hackers, because Omi is built for hackers like you, and we are literally raising millions of dollars just to give them all back to you guys. Now today, I'm giving free device to everyone who is building for our stuff at the end of the hackathon. So if you are going to present on top of Omi, you're getting a device that is basically like this. And it's cool, it works. On top of that, if you build any cool implementation of MCP, I'm giving you $500 in cash right away, and $5,000 a little bit later if that PR is good and it works and stuff. Okay? It might also need like a little bit of tweaks and but we'll see in a couple of days. The only criteria that I want from you by the end of the hackathon is to submit a pull request. Super clear, okay? Submit a pull request, $500 at the end of the day, and then $5,000 if it works great, and maybe if you do a couple tweaks and so on. Some links, scan it. This is our repository, like a bunch of stars there, and don't put a star, obviously, of course no. And this is the $5,000 MCP task. I'm not sure if it can be called MCP task, but let me actually show you what the task is here, and you can tell me better. I'm not as MCP expert as you all. Okay, cool. 1 second. This is so zoomed in, that's crazy. How do I fix this? 1 second, I'll do it. GitHub, Arc browser. Okay, anyways, so these are our like bounties and tasks. There are like $100,000 in cash of them, and the task is here. No, I will figure it out somehow. Yeah, okay, this is enough. You will understand from here. Basically, our core problem right now, as I told you, there are 1,000 apps, but they cannot be triggered by the device, okay? So if I say, hey Omi, call Uber, hey Omi, order DoorDash, hey Omi, like do anything, it can understand that, but it will not be able to trigger any device. If you crack that, if you're able to detect like some trigger word and actually activate one of the apps in our app system, you go to home with $5,000 in cash. This task again is here. 1 second. Present. Yeah, we'll send it out over Slack, okay? Yeah, it will be so much easier. Cool. Is there anything else to show? No, that's pretty much it. Thank you. Any questions?
Time for one question. You have a simulator? Or...
Yes. So that's the coolest thing. When you download the app, 1 second, I'll show you. Okay, cool. You don't need actually the device to hack, like at all. So here at the top, you click try with phone microphone, basically, in the app, and it should work without the device. So you don't need the device like to build anything at all, but once you get the device, after I give it to you at the end of the day, it will be 10 times better experience. So yeah, cool. Oh, and by the way, just super important, folks. When you're logging in the app, do not click on do not click on this flow with Twitter and stuff, because this will not show you anything device related. Okay, go to like this small link, clone from device. It's very important. All right, thank you all. Bye.
Here's to the real-world integration of AGI. Woo. So a little bit of AGI House lore. Back in 2021, Alex Gadusky, entrepreneurial but enterprising, was at my group house, much like this group house, and I was prepping him for YC interviews with this idea he had for metaphor systems. And the core idea was very creative. He wanted to create a custom LLM that more or less internalized PageRank. So I'm sure some of you know about PageRank and how it works. The sense that the links on the web form a graph, and the density of that graph could be used to inform a search engine. He built a search engine, which was an LLM that did link completion by removing the link and predicting what's likely to be there. So the novel pretext task for an LLM, much like GPT-4 or GPT-3, et cetera, but instead of next token prediction, it's link prediction. And that novel search engine launched and became what is Exa. And so here we are in 2025, 4 years later, and his co-founder's co-founder, so Will Brick and then Jeffrey Wang, is now with us to demo the Exa MCP. Let's hear it for Jeffrey Wang, co-founder of Exa.
All right, hey everyone. I didn't really prepare that much, as much as maybe Henry and Omi about what's going on. So, and at the end of the day, MCP is like a tool call. It's just like an API request. So I feel like there's not all that much to go into in terms of like MCPs, but I'll give like a brief history of Exa, and then I will go into maybe like just from our perspective, how the LM tool calling ecosystem has evolved over time and like where I feel it's going. And then we're giving out like $1,000 to the best prize built with Exa MCP. And if you need any more credits and stuff, just ask me. But yeah, Jeremy described the history of Exa pretty well. Like we started as like, basically GPT-3 came out and it was like, holy crap. You now have LLMs that are powerful enough to code. They can write your essays for you. This is insane. And the idea behind Exa is always, how can you put that intelligence into search engines? Because search engines like Google, to this day, are essentially like heuristics, like bags of heuristics, like keyword-based search algorithms. Like, what if you could just get rid of all that and use an embeddings-first approach to search? So Exa is fundamentally like end-to-end a full neural search engine that where like from the time that you enter a query to when search results are delivered, it's purely a neural network. We started the company just to improve search. So like the first product was just a consumer search engine. And then it was maybe like a year and a half ago where we were like, wait a minute, what even is like the point of search? Because at this point, ChatGPT had come out and everyone was just using ChatGPT instead of Google and all these things. And now that's like common, right? Like everyone's just using ChatGPT instead of Google. But back like a year and a half ago, that was like still sort of nuts. And at some moment, we were like, wait a minute, we should be building a search engine for AIs to use, right? Because it's like, wait a minute, AIs are going to search way more than humans. And I don't know, we tried to pitch this to VCs like a year, like about a year ago when we were raising our Series A, and most of them didn't buy it, honestly. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? But now that there's like MCPs and like all the LMs have web search built in and stuff, like I think the world is finally coming around to the fact that LMs need search and also LMs need tons of different tools. And Exa is now like pretty core infrastructure for tens of thousands of developers and like hundreds or maybe at this point thousands of companies that like, yeah, we power the search behind a bunch of like AI product experiences. So yeah, if you need search, we offer it in the Exa APIs basically like in like basically any form that you want. So like whether you want to use like our embeddings based search, or we also wrap traditional search providers like Google, and we also handle all the content crawling. Like if you need that kind of API in whatever you're building, or if what I just said inspires some sort of interesting project, yeah, you should try building with Exa. I'd also just want to do a quick note on like the history of the ecosystem of like this like LM tool calling stuff. Like it's been really, really crazy, right? Like raise your hand if you remember ChatGPT plugins, right? Yeah, like that's crazy, right? That was a thing. Because like, yeah, because actually like this ecosystem was like primed to take off even a year and a half ago, but the LMs were just they're just not quite there. Like even the original GPT-4, I think was just not quite powerful enough to successfully do tool calling. And OpenAI also kept on changing their implementation inside of ChatGPT plugins. So like you'd build a ChatGPT plugin, you'd have like these prompts that work, and then they would change like the LLM or some part of how the system works, and it would just break. And I think that has roughly been, okay, roughly that's still true, right? Like you build these MCPs, you try to get them to call 10 tools, like the tools have like 7 fields each. Like it's still really, really hard even for like a Claude 3.7 to successfully do tool calls, and it's even pretty hard for the thinking models, I believe, to do successful tool calling. It requires very careful prompting and like very careful context window management. But it's come a long way. Like, I guess when I saw the ChatGPT plugins come out, we were one of like the first 10 that came out on the entire ChatGPT store, actually. Or sorry, ChatGPT plugins store. Now, then there's the GPT store, which is like its own saga. And now we have MCPs. But yeah, I thought the tool calling LMs thing would take off a lot earlier. Like I thought it was gonna happen like a year and a half ago. Now I think we're finally seeing it finally happen, largely because of, I think, the capabilities of the models is kind of my take. Like I think the thinking models thing is a game changer, and then like longer context windows and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool to see how far things have come, and now there's like this whole ecosystem and like entire hackathons dedicated to like tool calling. So yeah, if you need web search inside of your application that you're building today, hit me up. Exa should work quite well. It should be really fast. It should be really performant, and like serve your needs. If it doesn't, let me know. And yeah, best of luck.
You have one question for Exa.
What's the difference between like you guys and Algolia? As I understand, it's like similar use case, or not exactly.
Yeah, good question. The question was, what's the difference between Exa and Algolia? Funnily enough, Nicolas, the founder of Algolia, is our YC partner. But yeah, Algolia is like an internal search tool. So it's like you can upload data and then search across it using like some flavor of Elasticsearch. And I think at this point, they probably also have vector search. Exa is right now purely a web search engine. So we are like trying to compete with, like from a technological perspective, we're trying to compete with Google. Like from a like what we work on every day perspective, like 2/3 of our engineers are focused on building a general search engine that's hopefully we'll be better than Google in like 6 months. Like that's like what our company focuses on. Whereas there's a lot of like internal search companies or vector database companies. It's just like a completely different genre of company.
Thank you. Jeffy Wayne. Okay, this is the point in presentations where we turn the power over to the hackers. We're going to open with a declaration. Don't take it that seriously. A suggestion. Let's like lighten it a bit. Of what you all are intending to produce today. So in this spreadsheet is a super simple way for everyone at the hackathon to quickly and easily communicate your like idea for what you might implement to everybody else. And so I'm going to request 3 minutes of abject silence, put on a timer, in which you all open this spreadsheet. It was just sent out over Particle Text Blast by email, and it also has been channeled in the Slack. And all of you should open the tab called Prospective Projects. Prospective Projects. And in the next 3 minutes, add your name, your Slack handle. Make sure you're in Slack, but check the app to know what your Slack handle is so that everyone at the hackathon can message you, DM you, if they think your idea is epic in the future and needs to be bursted into existence in collaboration. And we'll get things started. So it's currently at 12:23. At 12:26, we will get kicked off with lightning talks, but for the next 3 minutes, in silence, please open the spreadsheet, add your name, Slack handle, and project description in Prospective Projects. Thank you very much. No talking if possible, unless it's essential to getting it. The temptation to talk will be powerful. I suggest you restrain yourselves. I do kill the talking for the next 2.5 minutes. Trust me, you'll have time to talk eventually. Hey guys, seriously, chill. You can do it, I believe in you. Two minutes left to submit your project. Okay, 1 minute 40 seconds. We definitely only have maybe a fifth of you, so do make sure you get into the spreadsheet. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Okay, you only have 1 minute left to get your project in, so do your best to, in the next 60 seconds, get into the spreadsheet and add your project description.
Over 100 people watching.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, there are also 63 people in the spreadsheet. 30 seconds remaining. Time. Okay. Yeah, so I guess as you can see, here we have a number of folk who are interested in, building digital twins, generating 3D assets, creating stock portfolio APIs, open source projects that lets you build MCPs from front-end interaction components. There's an incredible diversity of projects on a board, so do take a look at what everyone is up to and decide who you'd like to partner up with. We'll have some time for that. But in the interim, we're gonna have some lightning talks. Because there's so many of us, it will have to be limited in time, and so I'm gonna limit your pitch to 30 seconds. 30 seconds. But if you would like to give a pitch, do make a line starting from here, running down the course of this bookshelf, so that everyone can basically, as efficiently as possible, hand the mic to the next person, so we can hear all of the project pitches you have in mind. So basically, yeah, do come forward if you're interested in giving a pitch. Do respect the timer. It's not personal. It's just that, yeah, we have to keep rolling. So make your pitch efficient. While people are pitching, once again, like, please kill the talking. There will be so much time to talk once we're done. So, yeah, feel free. So actually, there's one person, Chris, you want to come in, but everyone else will like not have this. Silence! Okay, we are going to have plenty of time to talk after pitches, so please hold on to your talking. I know you're excited. Okay, first 30-second pitch, which is from yours truly. So my hackathon idea is pretty simple, but also very hard to pull off. Authentication is a huge bottleneck to using downstream applications. So for example, Omi and Uber. So what I'm going to try to do is design a spec for authentication that is general. So if you want to log into Google Drive, if you want to log into Uber, to DoorDash, to Instacart, this is a software process that you can follow to log into all of your services in MCP auth and be able to use all of them through the MCP server that corresponds. So if you're interested in designing the future of authentication, let me know. Payments will come after, but yeah, good luck.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hey everyone, I'm Chris. I'm building something called Limeva Labs. We want to build the easiest platform to test MCP servers directly in your browser. You can actually try out the prototype at limevalabs.com. If you sign in, it'll open up a dashboard where you can easily find MCP servers at the bottom to test out. And as you know, MCP servers take environment variables and API keys to interact with things like Postgres, Notion, YouTube. I actually provided my Notion API key here, so you can try it out. You can all just paste it in here, hit save. It'll take about 5 seconds to load up, and then you can try asking a question, what is an MCP server? And it'll interact with Notion MCP server. Okay, in this case it did not, but if we also ask what is in Notion, it will query our Notion page that we have here, and it will get all the pages that are here. And we can also use the Notion MCP server to write to Notion. So yeah, if you want to try out MCP servers really easily in your browser, you can actually do so now. You can even use this on your phone. So you can install any of these MCP servers down here. Take a step.
Cool.
I'm over by 30 seconds, so thank you.
Are you hacking our project?
I'm also hacking on this and open to helping anyone come help me chat about it.
Hello, hi everyone. I have 30 seconds.
I believe in you.
Dun dun dun. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Of course. Hi everyone, I'm Colin Lowenberg and I started Action Item. You can go to actionitem.app and you can see this project live. I took all of my memories from the Omi device. I transcribed all that data from all my gigabytes of data and I sent it out to my servers. So I have a collection of all my memories that I can like and collect forever, but I also converted them into builds. So as I talk to projects, I collect information. So if you tell me about your project, I create a registry, I store your project in my database of all the projects I've talked to, then I automatically click the build button and start building it using MCP. So as I vibe at a conference or event, I collect ideas, I automatically generate sample code for that developer with my opinionated idea of how they should build it, and I give them a project, I give them tasks, actions. I'm really bad at remembering names, I'm really bad at remembering tasks, so this helps me automatically just bias for action. When you have an idea, just go fucking build it right away. That's what I did. You can go to actionitem.app and clone it.
Yeah, I strongly recommend that folk build automated like code gen tools for creating MCPs, because there actually are pre-existing ecosystems of tool use that I think should just be ported en masse with code generation. So, strong recommendation. Let's keep going.
1, 2, 3. Hey everyone, I'm Get. We are building operating system for autonomous enterprise operations. So basically, we're creating AI that understands company-wide context. And to do that, we first need to unify scattered business context today that's scattered across software vendors, basically logged in. So if someone is interested in Palantir, ontologies, data modeling, and keen to explore how MCP can help create this company-wide context layer and make it accessible for AI, let's talk. Excited.
Great. Hello, everyone. So as some context going into this project, for the past few months, I've been building out like online tools to help with math research. So like on sugaku.net, I have access to 10 million papers, the ability to summarize them, ask questions, kind of like recommend references and citations which are useful. But kind of like as I was like using it to really start doing some real work and writing things down, I realized that a website just isn't a very good interface for that. I'd much rather be able to just go into VS Code or my editor and just highlight some things and have it like recommend references, check them, pull them in, and build out some proofs. So yeah. And I'm hoping that just by giving like an MCP interface, then I won't have to build up an IDE. I can just give access to some of these individual tools. So I want to try implementing that.
For context, you're hearing from the winner of our math hackathon.
All right. So I think one thing we heard during the XAI presentation was that the reason sort of these function calling tools have taken off is because the models have gotten better. But the project that I'm interested in building is given a MCP server, use reinforcement learning to train the model to better use it. So you use the failures as a signal, and then you reinforcement learn a small model to get really good. And I've done this to train research agents to learn to search and gotten much greater accuracy, but I'm interested in building a more general tool to, given any MCP server, have an agent that learns how to use it really well using an LLM as a judge.
Fantastic project idea. I think there's potential there for generally training tool use agents. So lots of research potential.
Hello, so I'm with WordWare. WordWare AI is a platform that allows you to create agents very easily. There are currently like hundreds of thousands of apps that are available on the platform, and we're building an MCP interface to allow users to interact with all of those apps. So if anyone's interested, I created a public Git repo for this as well. Interested in implementing it or working together on it, please let me know. I'm around. And if there are any WordWare users, please reach out as well.
Yeah, WordWare is incredible. Strongly recommend finding your way to working with it.
Hey everybody, Damian Murphy. Does anybody in here use Cursor? Okay. Does anybody hate having to copy and paste stuff back into Cursor from the browser? No? Well, okay, just me. So the idea is an MCP server that can basically do everything that you do with Cursor for you. and then hopefully connect it to OMI so that you just get a notification when it needs some feedback, and you can just tell it what to do. And then hopefully cursor's just working for you in the background, and then you can have 10 cursors working for you.
Are you at cursor?
No.
Okay. I guess that if you can include multimodal, that'd be great. So screenshots.
Yeah, it'll take screenshots and do the whole thing.
And
Yeah.
feedback loop.
Yeah.
That is mine. Greatest pain point in the background.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Best of luck to you guys.
Since Jeremy asked nicely about, hey, can you build a way to build MCP servers? I made this open source project from that photo here. So this is like the 0.01.0. It just finished it like 5 hours ago. It was 0.0.1. What basically it does is you have this front end, and so back end, front end, right? Back end you have APIs, front end you have components like search bar, forms, all that stuff. So what I ended up doing over here is it's like a decorator around front end components, like, hey, this is a search bar and it does XYZ. And then you put this decorator, you put that metadata on it, and then it just creates the entire MCP server for you. So for example, if you go to this example, and this is built on the fly. So this MCP server, I gave it the, I can just show the demo actually. So if I go and do, and this is published on NPM, just finished it yesterday night, my first ever NPM package. So if you do this, it's created that MCP server, and over here, if you go, this is all generated on the fly, and if you go over here, this is the MCP server. So server tools, I still have to expand resources and all the other things that you need to do, but the tools are already generated from the front-end components because you already do that anyway, and you just like streamlining it much further. But yeah, anyone who wants to take this further would love to chat.
What's your name?
Vikrant.
Please do give your name so folk know how to look you up on Slack. Thank you.
Yeah. So, hello everyone, I'm Deep Barot. I'm a founder of Context QA. We are building AI QA engineer, and it is specifically for the web application testing a front-end application. So we are building an MCP server as a part of this event. So from the IDE itself, you can test your entire application, whatever you are like providing the prototype, or it is a live application, you should be able to test thoroughly from your local IDE itself. So that's what I'm building. So if you're interested, please reach out to me.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Jin. So in large language model, a key challenge is how to evaluate the model. And you need to define some good metrics and loss functions to do that. So the same challenge actually applies to agent. So with the help of MCP, I'm trying to figure out if there is a generic way to evaluate the infra layer. So we have task-specific metrics to evaluate each task, how well it does it. But at the infra layer, I'm trying to design some metric to evaluate is this a generic good infrastructure to build an agent. Let me know if you are interested. Thank you.
Very nice. And last but not least.
Sweet. All right. I'm building a company called Localhost 3000, and it's me and my co-founder Cursor. Doesn't take any equity. $20 a month, great. I'm looking for helpers for my project, so I'm building a modern, intuitive CAD. Kind of like if you're building anything in construction or remodeling, it takes an hour to do, like, let's say a kitchen remodel. I can do it in like 30 seconds because that's my time. So it's like a 3JS interface. You can quickly like add walls. So let's do that. Drag this in. So it calculates all the stuff for you. You can go and see it in 3D. Oh, it looks a little messed up. But, oh, I think it's because I'm doing, anyways. So I can add cabinetry, add appliances,
and yeah, it goes in here and generates everything for you. This looks super messed up because like I'm probably like doing the connection, but this is all in 3JS, so you can go in here and
The 3D model.
oh, the 3D models. This is SMEG. So here, let me just quickly restart. I'll do very quickly once again. Maybe this will work with like more realistic.
Yeah, you're out of time, but that's epic. Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is better. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck. Okay. That is a brief preview of the glory that awaits us at the end of the night when everyone is shipping their projects. So, final bit of logistics. I'm gonna loose all of you to invent and heroically create some sort of physical logistics. So you're on the 3rd floor of a 4-story mansion. There's a floor below this and a floor below that. Both are fully reserved for coding. So do find your way to either of the 3 floors in order to implement your project. There's a bathroom in this far corner and in the bottom floor. So do feel free to avail yourself of that. I have a request for help. There's just like a mountain load of water that's just been delivered outside, so folk can bring that in. That'd be great. In general, we're going to have lunch and dinner, but basically food will be arriving over the course of the day and will be placed on this kitchen area stand for people to eat. And yeah, all of that said, this is a glorious opportunity. Basically, I know you know, but this has been happening again and again, that some new technology is invented, and the first movers to have some creative insight and properly take advantage of it end up becoming huge. And so if this is the first moment when the process by which LLMs will be connected to all of tools is actually going to take off, then you basically are at the inception moment. And so do take full advantage of it. It's possible to go viral with an app today that will not go anywhere in a year. And so I know you're all fully aware of just how much time matters, but this is in fact the moment. And Smithery, a CEO, is telling me, oh yeah, actually we saw a 5x increase in the last 6 days in like the number of calls. And it's basically been doubling, MCP interest has been doubling every, was it day or week? One of the two. Sorry, can you remember? Every couple of days, MCP interest doubles. So we are in the middle of an exponential. So this is the moment to like unleash a heroic creation. And so basically the structure is you'll be free to code, feel free to hang out with folk and figure out what project to work on. If you are inspired by one of the presentations today, do reach out and make friends. And yeah, come together, create something fantastic. We'll announce dinner at 5 p.m. and then we'll have demos here in the evening. So at 8 p.m., we'll all gather on the same floor and we'll have a spat of MCP presentations. The CEOs and the representatives of these companies will judge your presentations and see whether or not you've won or lost in terms of their particular prizes. But of course, at the end of the day, it's a hackathon. So here you are expressing your creative identity. There's so much that can come into existence out of an idea and into reality. So do take full advantage of it. With all that said, let's hear a huge